the autumn of 1950, under the directorship of headmistress Marta Senkirai, a school opened in Kecskemét. It was the first elementary school in the Hungarian public sector where, based on Zoltán Kodály's concept of music education, pupils sang and made music every day, and where public education included the teaching of folk dances and musical instruments. On the 10th anniversary of the founding of the school, Kodály wrote in the school album, "It is a special pleasure that the school that could be a model for every elementary school wishing to educate the whole person should celebrate its 10th anniversary in Kecskemét." Following the Kecskemét example, similar schools formed elsewhere in Hungary. Kodály visited many of them personally. It is these schools that have won worldwide acclaim for Kodály's educational concepts and for Hungarian singing and music education. My name is Katalin K. Udvari. I'm a teacher of cello and solfeggio and principal of the Psalmus Humanus Association. I myself was fortunate enough to attend the very first specialized singing and music class, where the teaching took place under Kodály's instruction, and when he regularly visited the school in his personal presence. Events here and unique experiences had a decisive influence on the shape my life took, as shown by my decision to become a cello teacher. The personal experience of one of my former classmates, who I looked up when the school celebrated its 50th anniversary, also underlines the influence of an early artistic education on one's whole life. Singing every day made me more receptive to everything else too. Folk dance rehearsals satisfied our need for exercise. It taught us to live a daily routine and to manage our time as best we could. The years spent there are still within me. Perhaps it is no exaggeration to say that I became receptive to beauty, and music is a natural part of my life. Zoltán Kodály's words turned out to be true.
Nem zeneiskolának készült, mint még majd is tévesen hiszik sokan. De ez az első iskola, amely szervesen beépíti a zenét, az általános emberi műveltséget. Minden tanítanak itt, sőt egyes dolgokat jobban, mint mások. De megtanítják arra tanulókat, hogy aki zenével indul az életbe, az learanyozza minden későbbi tevékenységét, az életének olyan kincsét kapja ezzel, amely átsegíti sok bajom, a zene táplálék, vigasztaló, elixír, és az élet szépségét, és ami benne érték, azt mind meghatványozza.
In his essay, Music in the Kindergarten, published in 1941, Kodály expressed the following thoughts in regard to children's learning of music. It must start in the kindergarten, because that is where, through play, the child learns things which it is too late to learn in elementary school. Recent psychology convincingly argues that in education, the years 3 to 7 are more important than the following years. What is ruined or passed over at this stage cannot be repaired later. In these years, a man's fate is decided for more or less his whole life. The aim of Dr. Barbara Kovács's music education program is to foster a love of music, to prepare children to be receptive to music, to cultivate music as a mother tongue, to develop musical skills and abilities, and through this to develop the psychic functions that are a key to learning abilities. If some concrete form of movement is left out of a child's movement development, or is left until later, then the related areas of the brain do not receive the stimuli necessary for their development. This cannot be made up for later and may cause learning difficulties in school years. Dyscalculia, dysgraphia, dyslexia, and attention disorders. These neglected, underused areas of the brain are the very ones that carry the psychic functions so key for school learning. The Singing and Music Elementary School in Kecskemét was the first in Hungary to include daily singing as part of its taught lessons. Today the school has expanded with a secondary school, a basic arts education institution and a vocational secondary school for music. In the Kodály school, the high number of singing and music lessons makes quality teaching possible. The aim, though, is not to select musically talented children for a musical career, but to bring up people with emotionally and intellectually balanced personalities and a musical background. After the tiring lessons, music and movement had a really good effect on us, said of folk dance lessons a former pupil who went to many elementary schools specialising in singing and music. The sudden spread of computer technology provides many new opportunities for music education. One can't help but wonder whether Kodály's educational principles can be reconciled with the use of computers in music teaching. They can, without doubt. Kodály's goal was for every child to have access to music, for them not to be musically illiterate, for them to become adults that appreciate and practice music. Today, a computer can be found on almost every child's desk. If, with its modern means, this technical wonder, which did not exist in Kodály's time, can be used to assist children's singing and music teaching, it is certainly worth making the most of the opportunities it affords. One of the specialist fields of Zoltán Kodály, principal of the Ferenc Farkas Music and Golden Section Art School, is the teaching of computer music at an elementary level. The model of the new subject is based on the practice of the old masters, who taught music making and music theory through composition. The basis of the subject is classical harmony and improvisation, which serves as a means for the notes born in the imagination to be sounded in reality. Composing with computer aids the development of musical abilities in many ways. Many tasks become playfully easy when the musical elements are not lessons to be learnt by heart, but live material which the pupil can work with creatively.
We are in the Marcal Unified Methodology Institution for Special Needs Pedagogy. This institution is the only one in Hungary to teach healthy children together with autist, mildly mentally disabled, partially sighted children, and those with special needs due to socio-cultural disadvantages, together with those that were not able to hold their own in normal school life, either because they were highly talented and didn't fit in, or because today's pedagogical culture judged them to have behavioural problems, which is obviously not the child's problem, but a projection, a reaction to the teachers. Activities possible in the school. Firstly, we have a subject called artistic development, which comprises dance, drama, mime, puppetry, and many fields of visual art. This is assigned very few lessons, and the exciting thing is not this, because it's taught in every school, but rather what can be seen in the lessons. Namely, that creative behaviour, which is the result or essence of artistic development, is completely imbued into the teachers' and children's activity. This means that the teacher works with a range of differentiated individual solutions and opportunities with the children, and as a result, equally heterogeneous, highly exciting solutions are born, which in themselves sometimes reach the standards of art. The other large area in which art appears in many ways in the school is the afternoon programme. Mainly for pupils in the upper years, several programmes can be chosen from. We are a little stricter with the little ones, because they have to achieve, as we say, the ability for self-study, which means that the moment the child has achieved that level, he can learn freely. In other words, he does not require help to learn. Not to acquire knowledge, but to learn how to learn. He knows that he has a problem, and he has to solve it.
Women expecting a child can also benefit from the elementary school songbook by Zoltán Kodály and János Ádám. As early as the beginning of the 1950s, when asked when children's music education should begin, Kodály's reply was 9 months before birth, because an expectant mother gives not only body to the child, but builds his soul too, from her own. Dr. János Ádám, a clinical psychologist, published a study in 1997 that clearly supports Kodály's opinion. Acoustic stimulation directly increases brain activity. An expectant mother can best develop her child's sensitivity to music by singing. By organising children's concerts, Psalmus Humanus undertakes to create a new tradition. In the children's concerts linked to the natal clinics and hospitals' prenatal classes, school children teach expectant mothers and fathers children's songs and lullabies, which the young parents can then sing to their own baby. The birth of maintaining musical workability is directly linked to Zoltán Kodály, who, as well as being a composer, an educationalist and a scholar, with his consciously healthy lifestyle left a deep impression on his followers. In 1959, at Kodály's instigation, the directors of the Ferenc Liszt Academy of Music asked Dr. Géza Kovács, then on the staff of the Scientific Research Institute of the Physical Education College, to research into the origins of musical occupational injuries, which occurred frequently amongst students and professionals. The number one musical instrument is the player, and just like an instrument, has to be taken good care of. In other words, the human body too should be looked after for the benefit of a healthy musical education and a successful career in music. With ever-growing demands, the students' and adults' fitness for work cannot be left to chance. It's the duty of the educational establishments to organise training in work capacity maintenance. The Kovács method is taught at several musical institutions throughout Hungary, including universities, colleges, vocational schools and music schools. Heinrich Ulrich, a German teacher of handicapped children and school principal, believed that not only healthy school children, but mentally challenged children and young people are able to learn music. It is just a question of finding the right method. The solution is regular music making together, and the invention of the colour-coded musical scores. The colour-coded music system makes use of wind and plucked instruments. These are special in that the colours of the notes in the score are also visible next to the string, pipe or key of the instruments. So if the child is able to match them up, they do not even need to know the names of the colours.
C-Dur. In den altvertrauten Gassen vom Neapel lebt man. Das andere Kind baut G. Vino und Cantare.
The special instruments developed by Heinrich Ulrich are very simple, easy to handle and usually made of wood, but they are pleasant and enjoyable to listen to. Heinrich Ulrich puts together a syllabus which takes pupils from simple songs with one or two notes to longer, more difficult melodies with several verses, or even to orchestral playing in several parts. In the 50 years since the Singing and Music Elementary School was founded in Kecskemét, the world has changed a lot. But the ideas Zoltán Kodály expressed in his last public speech in regard to music schools are still valid today and can be considered a kind of intellectual heritage. Music is a necessary part of human culture. Without music, man is not complete. So it was self-explanatory that music should be linked into school subjects. It is indispensable. And it transpired that in the school where music too is taught as a compulsory everyday subject, the children learn all the other subjects better and with greater facility. This is no secret magic, but put simply, spending a little time with music each day sharpens the mind, making it more receptive to everything else. Kodály's prophecies continue into the 21st century. In the foreword to a booklet on the Psalmus program published in 2002, Professor Erzsébet Szörnyi has written the following about trends in music education today. For many years in Hungary, we have fought with unstinting exertion that the enriching effect of music on the heart and soul should fill the younger generations, and that they should carry this experience throughout their lives. A profit-orientated society does not look favourably on the arts. Their power to form people is perceptible only in the long term. Much patience and stamina is needed, for without enthusiasm and a sense of vocation, any success will only be superficial. We trust that society's decision-makers recognise the role of musical education in forming people, and that they will help the message of good music to reach future generations. It is in this spirit that our association aims to serve the heritage of Kodály. We trust that the educational models shown in this film, combining tradition and innovation, will draw attention to the scientifically proven significance of arts education and to the multiple opportunities in school teaching. And we hope that this film will contribute to the universal endeavour for general artistic culture to hold its place in the life of our society today.